Hi, today we're doing our Sunday school session number 2. And our questions for this session are, does your church have a regular time set aside for corporate prayer? If so, how might this time be used to invite God to manifest His presence? If not, what would it take for your congregation to become a praying people, as Alex suggests? We don't at this time have time set aside for corporate prayer. I had started a monthly prayer time, and that was going pretty well, and we've just kind of had that come to a halt with all the changes that have gone on. I thought that about maybe a weekly time would be, people could remember it better if it was weekly. But it's just been a struggle to understand what's best for our congregation. So I appreciate that you would pray with me about that, and maybe together we can come up with the best way to handle that. Question number 2, when you pray, how much time do you spend either complaining or praying about anything and everything that you can think of? How can you incorporate worship into your times of prayer? Well, for many years, music has been a very powerful way for me to incorporate some time of worship into my prayer. And when I begin to listen to music and hear the words of that music and begin to hear God through that music, then I can begin to pray in a much more powerful way. And so for me, that's what's worked best. You may have different things that have worked best for you, but it's challenging for us to find the best way at this time in our life. It may change for me and become different at some point. So we need to continually be seeking the best way to add worship. It may be to start with the reading of Scripture. It may be to start with listening to music. It may be to start with reading a poem. Maybe starting with reading a commentary, a book, or something, a devotion. So find the best way for you, and that may change as we go through our growth in our faith life. Next question is, what role do desperation and persistence in prayer play in bringing awareness of God's presence? Well, always I found that when I am in a difficult situation in my life, my prayers become more urgent. I make sure I have time to pray, and I don't always when I'm not feeling that urgency. And so I think desperation does play a part in all of our prayer lives. Persistence, if we do it every day and it becomes a routine for us, then it's much easier for us to learn to spend time in prayer. And that's a challenge. And sometimes we just have to put it in our calendar and make sure it happens. Next question, what is the difference between holy dissatisfaction and just being negative about your life, your church, or your pastor? Well, I feel that holy dissatisfaction is dissatisfied with where I am in my walk with God. It's not dissatisfied about someone else. It's dissatisfied with where God is, where I am with God. And so it's focused on me and not my church or my pastor. But it's not just dissatisfied totally with my life. It's a desire, a longing for more than what I already have. It's wanting to be closer and have more of God's presence in my life. So it's a desire more than a negative. It's a positive want, a desire to be with God. And so those are my answers to those questions today. And I'll post the questions, and hopefully you'll share your answers and maybe ways that we can develop a better time of prayer in our church, that we can come together and pray, and to make that a worshipful time and not a time just to come and be negative about everything that we need to lift up to God, but also to be positive and to be seeking God's presence. So I hope that you'll pray with me about that, and this can become a way to move forward in our walk with God together as a community. So I'll post the questions, I'll post my comments, and God bless you as you work through this Sunday school.